Hey everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Another, not Facebook Live, another YouTube Live right now. I'm getting quite used to the lives, and actually, quite frankly, quite honestly, it's actually easier for me to film a live because then it automatically uploads onto YouTube anyway. So it saves me doing all the background stuff. And as you lot all know, I kind of like to stay consistent on YouTube, but yeah, it does take quite a long time to actually edit the videos and all that sort of stuff. So I like to stay genuine as well. So I think it's quite a good way for me to just do lives, crack some lives out, and then they can just stay on my file for everyone else to watch anyway. But anyway, in this video, I want to talk about staying consistent. So I was listening to A Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett yesterday, and he talked about the importance of consistency. And if those of you who do not know Stephen Bartlett, he's built like a $200 million company. He's like 26, 27 years old, something like that. And he explains how the only reason he did that was from staying consistent. And as all of you know, this I never claim to be an expert. I'm just documenting my journey, and it is so fundamentally true. All I am doing right now is staying consistent with Amazon. And the amount of things that have changed for me, I'm not sure if any of you are in any of the Facebook groups or my personal Facebook group, Amazon FBA Journeys Live, but I posted a graph the other day of my sales for the last 10 months or so, because that's around about when I started about 10 months ago. This is my first Q4 coming up. And right at the beginning was a tiny little, we looked back for the whole year, so it was month by month, and right at the beginning we saw a tiny little orange, almost like a tiny blip, but you couldn't almost see how many sales there were. And then the next month it was almost the same but a tiny bit more, and then the next month it was a bit more, and next month, and then all of a sudden it jumped and it jumped and it jumped, and my sales month by month massively increased. Now, I'm not saying that I've discovered how to sell on Amazon really successfully. I'm like, the go-to person at all. Not at all. I'm not an expert. I'm by far that. But it's hard to ignore how quick them results came all of a sudden. But the consistency before that of me understanding different techniques, different methods, speaking to different sellers, hours and hours on Facebook groups, YouTube, courses, mentors, training, all over the place, me just immersing myself consistently in Amazon is completely what got the ticket there. But now I'm at the next stage where, my sales have increased massively and I've got quite a nice turnover coming in each month. Now I'm at the next stage, which is it's gone full circle again. So I've realized that what I'm doing now has got me to a certain stage, and that is fantastic. But now what I've got to do is consistently keep learning even more to understand how to get to the next level. And the next level is me outsourcing my prep, which I'm currently in the process of, and then scaling it past VAT, which I'm just about to turn to, and it's all happening, but it feels really overwhelming, and I'm really worried about me losing profits, too much profit, not making enough money to continue. But I'm just sticking with it. I'm staying consistent. I'm learning as much as I can from other people, and just hoping and praying and just sort of self-believing in myself that it is going to work out. And I think that is what's key, because so many people give up on this in this Amazon business in the first 6 months. And if I gave up in the first 6 months, friends, family, myself, I would have held myself to an excuse that, okay, it's fair enough that I gave up. Because if you looked at that graph, as I just mentioned, slowly, ever so slowly, it almost looked like there was no progress happening. It was quite understandable that most people would give up then. But if I gave up then, I wouldn't have suddenly seen that jump on month 7, 8, 9, which I'm just seeing now. So it was sort of 7, 8, 9, 10 that I'm just seeing now. And now it's a consistent profit each month that I'm making, a consistent amount of sales. And that was just from me consistently tweaking these tiny little bits as I went. So I think the thing I'm trying to get across here is, after listening to Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, how he built his $200 million company, I completely get what he is saying, but you can't really describe it in words until you're actually doing it. So not giving up and staying consistent and learning from loads of other people is definitely what is helping me on my journey so far. I'm interviewing Luke Dugan, a six-figure seller, on my Facebook group later, Amazon FBA Journeys Live. So yeah, join that if you're not in it so far. And I'm going to ask him his opinion on what I've just sort of spoken about, because I know for sure that he's stayed consistent. You know, he's been doing it for I think 4 or 5 years now, and the difference between the people that make this work from what I've seen and that don't, a lot of it is luck from meeting the right people and gaining the right understanding and skill sets from different people and learning from them, but also consistency just over years, just learning, just understanding that it's gonna take time. And I am one of the I'm probably one of the, if I'm completely honest with myself, I'm quite an inconsistent person. I get really, really, how can I put it? I get really fed up. I get really bored. I've got so much energy all the time that if a business wasn't working for me in the past, I used to just say, right, screw that. Let's go start another business. I don't do that anymore because that doesn't get you anywhere. If you keep doing that, if I kept doing that over and over again, and there's been times even in the last month or so that I thought to myself, oh, do you know what? There's so much aggro with this Amazon selling stuff. Shall I just sack it off and go start again? You know, no. And then I have to pull myself back and just say, no, the only reason you're thinking that is because the consistency of your results is not exploding on a day-to-day basis. But as I just mentioned in the graph that slowly goes up, if you consistently stay with something like I have, like I know a lot of you are, if we consistently stay with this, like the big sellers have, over time, you are going to tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak loads of little bits and learn from those different sellers. And then that's going to be a compounding effect to eventually get us to where we want to be. So that is what I wanted to share in this video. Listen to Stephen Bartlett if you haven't already. Diary of a CEO. It's an awesome, awesome interview. I'll be interviewing Luke Dugan at 6 p.m. tonight on my Facebook group. Really looking forward to that. Let's stay consistent together. The whole reason I started this YouTube page, my Facebook group and everything, Amazon FBA Journeys Live, was to sort of hold us all accountable together, because I'm on a journey, you're on a journey, the big sellers are still on a journey. It's all just a journey, and consistency is the difference between that journey becoming a success and all of the little compounding effects being worth it, or if we're just going to give up and just use the excuse of the results not coming as quickly as we would like them to, because it is definitely possible. It's 100% possible. I've seen enough to know how possible this business is. It's not whether it's possible, it's whether you're willing to stay consistent enough to make them results become a reality over time from learning from mistakes. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will speak to you all soon.